I can remember my mom told me way after the fact that first phone call, she was heartbroken. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. If you're about to head to Navy boot camp, or you have a loved one who has just shipped out, you're probably wondering, how do recruits stay in touch with family and friends during boot camp? Well, I'm here to give you a full breakdown of what communication is like during this time, because, spoiler alert, it's a lot more limited than what you're used to. Boot camp is designed to immerse recruits fully into military life. This means that cell phones, internet, long phone calls are off the table. But don't worry, there are still ways for recruits to communicate with their friends and family back home. In today's video, I'll explain how all that works, from that famous scripted phone call to writing letters, and even how families can stay in touch towards the end of training. Whether you're shipping out or supporting somebody who is, this guide will ease your mind and help you stay connected during this exciting and challenging time. Let's dive in. Okay, the scripted phone call. I spoke about this a little bit in this video right here, where I talk about the very first night at boot camp. So a little review on what happens on day one. As soon as the recruits arrive at Great Lakes, the first thing that recruits do immediately after exiting the bus at Great Lakes is they make a very scripted, structured, quick phone call home. This is anything but a casual phone call to your loved ones. There is no catch up. There is no how you doing? How's Buster? Did you feed him? Nothing like that. The recruit will be handed a pre-written script. And if you're not handed one, you better memorize it the first time I tell you. As I've mentioned before, this phone call usually goes with, hello, mom and dad, grandma, whoever. I've arrived at Great Lakes safely. You can expect a package of my personal effects within the next weeks, and you can expect a phone call from me within the next, 10 to 15 days. Boom, that's it. Also, they may ask you to tell them, don't send me any packages. I'll send you my address soon, and we can start writing letters. And that's it. No added details, no explanations, just a short, direct message. So why is this? Why this cold, heartless technique of not being able to say more than a few words to your loved ones before you begin this journey? Well, recruits need to focus 100% on transitioning into military life, and their RDCs are there to enforce this structure. Now, for those who are on the receiving end of this phone call, don't be alarmed by how quick it is. It's just a way for you to know that your recruit arrived safe and sound. Make sure you pass along positive words of encouragement and hope, because you're going to hear the trembling in their voice. You're going to hear screaming in the background. It's not going to sound like a happy place. Your recruit is not at Disney World right now. So make sure you lift them up. I can remember my mom told me way after the fact that first phone call, she was heartbroken. She heard the terror in my voice. She said she could hear the screaming coming from what sounded like right next to me. Yeah, that was it. That was my last communication with them for about 2 weeks, I'd say. Okay, so that's the first communication you get after your recruit arrives at boot camp. Cell phones. Unless things have changed in the past 7 or 8 years, there are no cell phones. The cell phones get put into the box with all your other personal effects that get sent home. Meaning it goes in the box with your pants and shirt and socks and underwear and hat and wallet, keys, suitcase, duffel bag, anything you brought with you, that goes in a box and it gets shipped home. You only use and wear Navy issued gear, and that does not include a cell phone. You may want to prepare a digital detox, quitting all that stuff cold turkey, especially if you're into like Instagram and TikTok and everything else. Yeah, you may want to train yourself to not rely on that so much anymore. Okay, so the most reliable and the best way to communicate with family and friends back home is with old-fashioned writing of the letters. You can get paper and pens and envelopes and stamps at the Navy Exchange, also called the NEX, N-E-X. There's one at boot camp, and you'll probably make a visit there within the first couple of days of getting there to make sure you have enough toiletries and all that stuff you need to, stay clean and smelling good. But while you're there, get some stamps, get some envelopes, get a pen, and some writing paper, and you can write letters home. I gotta tell you, receiving mail was one of the biggest morale boosters ever. Nothing was better than at the end of the day, and they say mail call, and they start handing out the letters that people got. It's heartbreaking when you don't get one. When there's like a big stack of letters coming in and they're calling every name but yours. It took a while for my family to write me one. I don't know, maybe like 2 or 3 mail calls occurred before I got one. But they sent it. It just took a while to get there. And once I did, usually I would get into my rack and I would go into the covers and I would read it and everything. And it was just a way to really calm down and reminisce of easier times. But for those who are shipping off their recruited boot camp, do not send anything but paper letters. Don't send treats. Don't send care packages. The RDCs will eat the cookies, or they'll make you throw them in the trash in front of everybody. Some of our recruits, they got little, boxes of pastries or brownies or cookies that their mom or grandma made, and they were made to toss in the trash. Once, I think the RDCs kept them. They went into the fishbowl, which is their office, covered in glass, and they ate them all. And if somehow, some way you sneak them in, they will be found in their rack, and they will get beaten, probably along with everybody else who's around them. Guilt by association, sorry to say. And again, for writing letters, you want to be positive, you want to talk about good things and how proud you are of them. Speaking to the people who shipped off their recruits, give them happy memories to think about, to take their mind off the troubles they're going through. And then for the recruit, talking to you now, speak truth. The truth will come out. What I mean by that is I was never really a sappy, emotional person, but going to boot camp as an adult, after you've had your routine set in place for years, and then you forfeit all control of your life, you give up every convenience and every comfort. For me, it was just a hot cup of coffee with French vanilla cream and a sweet and low, watching the news in the morning. Something as simple as that. You think about that all the time. The simple things, the things that brought you joy that didn't really cost anything, and you enjoyed doing every single day. You want to be reminded of that kind of stuff. And reading that letter, even though it might only take you 2 or 3 minutes to read a letter, for those 2 or 3 minutes, you're transported outside of that barracks, and you're either at home with your family, playing cards or watching a TV show or playing a sport. It's good therapy, writing a letter. And if you don't know their address, write their address down. Or draft a listing of addresses that you want your parents or whoever you're writing to send to you. So give it to them. You send your first letter to them. They'll mail back a response, include that listing of addresses so you can write to more people. Best friends, cousins, aunts, uncles, whatever. Now, boot camp does keep the recruits awfully busy, so they don't really have a lot of time to write letters very often. Usually Sunday mornings are the best time. That's the time where you're going to get, it's not really free time. You're still monitored closely. You're expected to shine your boots, iron your clothes, practice folding, and you can write some letters. You can always write letters at lights out when you're in your rack, but seeing that you won't get more than like 6 or 7 hours of sleep, you really don't want to spend too much time writing, because you'll also be studying as well on Sundays and at night. You will have a lot of testing, not just physical testing, but academic testing, and you want to pass these tests the first time unless you plan on being held back in training. So time is very precious. There's a lot to get done, and as important as it is to write letters and receive letters and have that morale boost, you really have to judge your time very carefully. Okay, next are phone calls. And yes, you will be able to make phone calls. Will it be on your cell phone? No. You'll go to the Navy Exchange, and there are probably 40 or 50 payphones. And you buy a phone card, and you add money to it, and you use that code at the payphone. Some of you are like, what the hell are you talking about? A phone card? A payphone? Yeah, the kind that you hold like this. And yeah. And you... Now, the amount of time you get for these phone calls, it all depends on how good you are. If you're good boys and girls, you'll get long phone calls. If you mess up a lot, prepare to have those minutes diminish. And we really had one of our phone calls cut down so bad. It started at 60 minutes. I don't think they ever expected it to stay like that. But every time someone messed up, they got in trouble for whatever reason, they smuggled a granola bar from the mess hall into their rack, or they were caught sleeping on the toilet, which is another video I have to make about pooping in front of everyone. I'll put it right here. They took away minutes. So 60 to 50 to 40 to 30 to 20 to 10 to 5. And pretty soon we had like 3 minutes left. I mean, the first one was probably like 15 minutes. They kind of gave us a little grace. And that was amazing. To call home, I'm like, thank God they answered. And there aren't enough phones for everyone to use at the same time, especially in the very beginning when you have like 100 and 110 people. So you got to be quick. As soon as you're done, someone else goes in. As soon as they're done, someone else goes in. So I'd call my mom and dad first, then I would call my grandma, or I call my grandma first the next time, then my parents next time. Because you don't want to hog the phone for too long, because then the people behind you won't even get a phone call. So it's like, you have 10 minutes left, hurry up, these 5 people still have to go. And if you had 20 minutes, you feel like an ass. So there will be phone calls. And especially towards the end, when graduation comes up, you really want to explain what the process is going to be, how your parents or your family can get there. What do they have to present? How do they get tickets? How do they get to the drill hall? What hotels they can book? What's in the area. And then the best communication ever during boot camp is what every recruit waits for, and that is graduation day. graduation day. I can't remember how many people you can have come, but your family can come. I had my parents and my grandma. I had no idea where they were sitting. And so you're just like sitting at attention for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. We had probably 7 or 8 divisions graduating that same day. It's a whole process. It's a whole to-do. And then once the person says, Liberty Call, rush out into the audience and the crowd, and you're like, Mom, Dad, Grandma, Nanny, where are you? You set eyes on them, and you just run to them, and you hug them, and you're crying, and they're crying, and oh, I remember this so vividly. My grandma was in her wheelchair, and I go down to hug her, and she wasn't very strong then, but she like grabbed me, and she like pulled me, and she goes, oh, Jeffrey, I can't believe it. I can't believe this. She was so proud. And that was a good moment. It was all over. It was done. We were through it. And that was an amazing feeling. So during boot camp, you may have very limited communication with family. And when I say limited, I mean very, very limited. So one thing you can do is really lean on your division for support. You will gravitate towards a certain number of recruits and you'll form a bond. There's a lot of people in the beginning, and so it might be hard to sift through everyone to find out, who do you mesh with most and who do you get along with most. There were some fighting, so not everyone gets along, but you'll find your group, you'll find your clan, and you can lean on them for support. And again, use the letter writing as therapy. Write out everything, because at the end of all this, it's going to be nice to go back and reread those letters. Have your family and friends keep them. You keep all the ones they send you. And you're going to forget about half the stories from boot camp. And then when you read the letters, oh my God, I forgot about that. That was insane. And then, of course, stay focused on graduation day. Just keep that in the back of your mind. When it's a choice between studying and just resting your eyes, study. You want to study for every test, prepare physically, do push-ups on the side, get stronger as boot camp goes on, because if you fail a physical test or if you fail a Navy knowledge exam, you could go back weeks. I had a fellow recruit. We were, I think, at like the 6th week. It was towards the end. He got bumped back to P days, and P days is when you check in, basically. He had to do the whole thing over again. Had that happened to me, I don't know how I would have taken it. I don't know how I would have processed that. That'd be like being in prison for a year, and then the next day you're leaving, and it's like, sorry, you gotta do it all over again. That was a horrifying prospect, and that kept me laser focused. Focus on the end game. Focus on graduation. Play the game, play by the rules, do what you're told, and just graduate. And then for the families of those who are shipping your recruits off to boot camp, remember that boot camp is a safe place. It's very psychological, it's very emotional, it's very mental, and it's physical, but they're safe. They're not in harm's way. They're in good hands. The RDCs are trained to manage large groups of young people and mold them into military service members. Write letters often. You don't got to wait for them to write you one. You can write them every single day. They could get 2 or 3 cards every mail call. That is going to make them so happy. So write letters often. And that does it for this video. Please like and subscribe. Here are a few other videos that you may want to check out, or maybe it's right there. Maybe it's right there. I don't know. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying these. And then I hope you join me for the next video as I chronicle my journey to sailor. See you next time.